Hi, my name is Abigail Lacey, and welcome to the Heal the Industry podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today and to talk about this topic. So, why your salon shouldn't be your entire personality. I know this sounds crazy because it's so like normal nowadays online to hear kind of the opposite story, right? Like your business, you need to eat, sleep, breathe your business. You should be posting every single day, post 5 times a day. Like this has become so normalized, this like hustle culture. And while on obviously Heal the Industry, we do preach the opposite of that many times. But today I want to go a little bit deeper into that topic. And why I want to talk about this, I've noticed something changing in our industry. To be honest, I genuinely do believe that our industry is healing, which is amazing. Obviously, that is our mission here. So it's awesome to see like things are changing, things are happening with other salons, salon owners, stylists, everywhere. We're talking more about mental health. This is huge. We're creating better boundaries for ourselves inside of our business, for our families. We have stronger work-life balance, I believe, than ever before. I know for a fact as a child of a, nail tech mom who worked in the salon for, still does actually, it's been 30 something years. I know very well what it looks like to have to overcome, saying yes, 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 yes to your clients all the time in order to protect your work-life balance outside of the salon. I've lived it, I've experienced it myself and growing up. And I do believe from what I've seen in the industry these past like 10 years, we have made many, many changes to this. I think for a while, it got very extreme and stylists were really, really laying down the hammer. And I do think we're maybe finding a middle ground now, which is awesome. And I also believe that, we are starting to charge our worth. I think that the days of us undercharging are actually less talked about. It seems like now, we see the opposite on TikTok and things. But hopefully we have really good boundaries and we really know how to, we value our worth and we are okay charging our worth. We are taking more vacations. We are caring more for our bodies. This is something that we've talked about on Heal the Industry often. We had an episode actually recently that was incredible. And it is this hairstylist who she really like brings this caring for our bodies into her marketing message and helping stylists, we're hunched over all day long. Here's an exercise that will help compensate that. Things like that nobody was talking about before. I'm seeing this change happening, which is incredible. This is exactly like what has been needed for a long time. And most importantly, it's showing that this career is sustainable because of these changes. And it's not, as some people refer to it, as a pit stop career. With these changes, we can do this for as long as we want because we love it. And it just so happens to, we can make really great money doing it too. But one thing that I have not seen normalized yet online, especially as a hairstylist and especially a salon owner like myself, it's common to hear, I'm obsessed with hair. Hair is my life. I eat, sleep, breathe hair. My salon is my life. Everything comes back to my marketing and my branding for my salon. It almost becomes like a badge of honor. But is that actually healthy? In my own experience, I found that it is not. That your salon being, or your job being your badge of honor, meaning being almost your hobby and your career, while that may sound like the best thing, because at first it's like, how lucky am I? My hobby is my career. I get to do what I love every day. While that can be true, if it is your only hobby, if it is the only creative outlet, if it is the only thing that you obsess about, is this healthy and is that sustainable? So just to give you like a little bit of my experience before I go deeper into this topic, I am a salon owner. I have owned a salon now for, we're coming up on 5 years. It has been such a journey. It has been a labor of love. I absolutely love my business. I love my team. I have these days I'm very, very proud of. We just finished our quarterly reviews last week, and it's been incredible to see how hard these girls work and how much they love what they do. It's very hard to find a team as aligned as we are, and I feel very, very blessed. And it did not come easy, right? That stuff doesn't just happen naturally. This is something that everybody plays a part in. I have had to work very hard. I have had to have these boundaries. I have had to be patient above everything else to get to this place. And in doing so, that meant a lot of marketing, a lot of training, a lot of hard conversations, a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of numbers, a lot of money spent on business coaching and mentorship coaching, leadership coaching, so much spent on elevating our brand and creating a service method and experience that, you know, stands out in the market. And by doing that, I have to be thinking about the salon 24/7, the business 24/7. And for the past several years, that has been me. More specifically, I would say for probably the last 2 years, the most I had been really, really consumed with my business. Well, give or take this past year, and I'll explain why. But the 2 years leading up to this past year, I have been just completely immersed in my business every waking moment. But this year, I made some changes. I will never forget the day my sister is a huge reader. Okay, let's start here. She loves fantasy books. And every time we would go to Barnes and Noble together, I would go to the self-help and the business section, and she would go downstairs to the fantasy romance section. And she would try so hard to get me to read these books. And I would be like, what are you talking about? I do not have the time to read about fairies or whatever this is. Like, no, I need to work on my business. Like, I want to learn how to grow my business faster, XYZ. And then I reached a point where I felt like I'm either going to sink or swim. I reached a point where I felt like I am giving everything I have and there's nothing left for myself. And I need to make a change because I've worked so, so hard for this and I love it, but this can't be the only thing I eat, sleep, and care about is my business. It just can't. So I went to my sister and I said, okay, fine. I need an outlet. I need a distraction. I need something to turn my brain off because the second I look at my phone, I'm looking at photos of hair. I'm looking at business things. I am constantly working on my business. Like whether I realize it or not, I am thinking about my business. And even if it starts off as something small, like I'm just looking at fun TikToks, inevitably I stumble across something with hair. I stumble across something that makes me want to redecorate the salon. And suddenly there I am mentally back in my salon. So I wanted something to disconnect and to literally like get me off my phone. So she recommended a book to me. I started it. And it was the best thing that ever happened. I'm someone who like never thought I was much of a reader or I didn't think I had like the attention span, I'll be honest, to sit there and like read a fiction book. And this past year, I have read 34 very large books, all fantasy, none self-help, none business related. And honestly, it was the best thing I could have done for my business, which sounds crazy, but just wait. Okay. So I became obsessed with books and to the point where I'm actually hosting like a book fair at my salon with like 10 local authors doing book signings and readings. And we're having like a bookstore and event coordinator plan it all, a coffee cart. The biggest event I've ever planned in my salon ever. And it's so funny. I'm more passionate, excited about it than ever before. And it actually has nothing to do with my salon, yet it has been promoting my salon more than any past event we've ever had, which is also just so funny. But beyond that, this past year, I have taken up writing. I have taken up journaling, and not just affirmations and things like that, which I would do in the past, and it always turned business related. I've started creative journaling. I have this like beautiful journal from Venice. I think it's by something Republic, Journal Republic or something. And it's beautiful. And you can put these inserts in it. And I'm getting like these beautiful like stickers and pens and this tiny little printer, and I'm putting pictures in it of my kids and I'm writing little notes on it. I'm just writing quotes, like nothing to do with my business, nothing but creative, nothing but fun, and nothing but purely turning my brain off from business solving problem mode and allowing my brain to just hang out in creative, relax mode. This is very hard once you own a business. As a business owner, like there's so much stress on you at every waking moment. There's always that, oh gosh, is the thing gonna happen that, everything, hits the fan or whatever. And it's very hard to find those true moments of like disconnect. And these are just the things that I've started doing. And what that has done for me in this past year, it's made me spend like more intentional time with my kids. It's allowing me to explore interests and hobbies that I never had time for before, that I always was curious about, but like just never thought I could do it. And ironically, what's funny is all these little things from reading more, from writing, from journaling, to even the silliest one of all, I got my daughter a goldfish and it turned into this big fish tank, and it's like a full-blown aquarium now. And it's something me and my daughter do together every Sunday. We do water change and we do the chemicals, and like it has become such a fun hobby for me that never in a million years would I have thought I wanted to do. And it's become like the most relaxing hobby. I'm just at home thriving with all my little side quests that I never had time for before. And ironically, it has made me better at my job. Unintentionally, it has made me a better salon owner, a better mentor, and honestly, a better hairstylist. Okay. And this is why I feel now that I have time to rest my brain, I actually have more room for fresh ideas, more inspiration. I have more patience for leadership. I feel less stressed when a problem falls into my lap at work. I truly do. I can enjoy going into work and spending time with clients and having those conversations more than I was. And it's because I'm giving myself the space and the freedom to branch out and not tie myself so deeply with my business as I was before. So what I'm really hoping the message from this podcast is not just here, listen to me talk about my hobbies, okay? These are just examples. It's that your hobby doesn't have to make you money. I think as hairstylists, we love to tell ourselves like, oh, I found something I enjoyed. How can I monetize this? What if I sold this? What if I taught this? And that's because we're entrepreneurs. Like whether we're stylists or salon owner, it doesn't matter. Like we are entrepreneurs and our hands make us money. Our skills make us money. And we are so trained to tell ourselves like, oh, I can do this. It looks really good. I could sell it and make more money. That's just the natural pattern of our brains, which is great. And it is why and how we are where we are today. However, there does come a point when we need to just say, hey, I read books because they're fun. I garden because it brings me peace and I get some sunshine. I like to do pottery because I get to be creative in my hands and it's just for me, even if they're terrible. I lift weights because I want to feel good. I bake, I play an instrument, I go hiking, something simply because you enjoy being human, not just because it can make you money or because it'll make you look cool on social media. Of course, I love sharing my personal things and my hobbies on social media because inevitably it does support my business. It does. But that is not why I'm doing it. And I think it's important for us to remember that it's okay to have some things just for ourselves because it makes us feel good. And it doesn't need to be involved with our business or be a profitable activity for us. I do believe there's a bit of a trap with social media. You teach content online like I do, like to other hairstylists and salon owners. So like for me, sharing content is also supporting my business. So I have to like really draw this line here because I do share my hobbies online because I'm also teaching hairstylists how to create content. But as someone who is trying really hard to branch out of their business, it is very important to remember that yes, posting matters. Marketing matters. Showing up consistently matters. But posting every single day while your creativity is empty isn't sustainable. And usually it's like not super beneficial either. This is why I teach inside of Heal the Industry. I teach like content batching, simplifying your social media process. I talk a lot. Like I know some people are like, oh, social media pillars. What does that even mean? I have basically found a system that I have taught all the stylists in my salon. And when they utilize this process, their numbers, speaking of like our quarterly reviews, their numbers double every quarter from doing this simple social media concept. And this is what we talk about inside the Heal Industry. But basically, it all comes down to simplifying your content, to posting in like a pillar system where you're hitting every aspect of your business when you do show up online, whether it's yourself, whether it's your services, where you work, whatever that looks like. It's all about consistency and showing a well-rounded brand. These are things we talk about. But the reason I want to talk about these things in Heal the Industry isn't just to get you more clients. Obviously, I want you to have more clients. It's not just to make you more money. Obviously, that's the goal. But it's also because I don't want you stuck on your phone all the time. I don't want you constantly on social media because I don't think it's healthy for us long term. It's kind of scary to be us right now. While we are so lucky to have all these advancements, all this AI technology, we're the first generation to live this life of social media, and we haven't seen yet the effects of it later. I do feel that since social media and like having a business and being active online, and especially like TikTok and things where it's so much content coming at you very quickly, I have noticed a major spike in like my, like how quickly I become overstimulated. It's quick now. And it's because I think we're constantly just consuming more information than our brains are supposed to at any given moment. And it's very scary. So while, of course, we have to do these things, we have to show up online for our businesses. This is like the number one thing I'm going to teach any stylist that comes in our salon. It's all about finding a way that gives you the business that you want and hits those goals without draining you so you don't have time for anything else anymore. Because when your hobby becomes your career, hair, you have to remember, hair started as the escape. And then every vacation, every dinner, every scroll, it started becoming about work. We all know that like hairstylist or salon owner that's like on their phone on vacation or like texting a client because we have a hard time like turning that off. And a lot of times it's because we associate like our career with our passion and our hobby, which it can be true. But we have to make sure we know how to turn that switch off and pour into other areas. And while that sounds like such a simple task, it's really not, because once it's almost like addicting. I think there's probably a lot of there's probably a chemical reaction going on in our brains here when we post, get a client, make money, right? That's a instant like endorphin rush, right? So then we think, okay, every time on my phone, I got to post, I got to create, and it just kind of keeps going and going. And then it's, oh, I got to get better. What if I could do a better highlight? What if I could do a better install? And I need to learn more. I need to take another class. I need to watch more videos. And then it just kind of spirals and keeps going and going. The reality is, yes, these are true things, but can you turn that off? And if you have a hard time turning that off, then this is where I would challenge you. I want you to ask yourself, who are you when you clock out? What excites you that has absolutely nothing to do with hair? If your salon disappeared tomorrow, what parts of you would still exist? I think the healthiest salon owners, they're the ones who they're not the ones who never stop working. They're the ones who have something like beautiful to come home to, not just literally, but within themselves. Those are the salon owners that are the best mentors and leaders to others because their cup is truly full. It's not just about self-care. Their cup is truly full because they feel like they've had time for themselves. And if you add motherhood to any of this, if you're like me, this gets vastly harder. But it is possible. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I'm over here writing and reading all these books and with my aquarium and like you have to make it just as important as anything else. You have to carve that time out. So instead of watching TV at night, maybe dedicate an hour to this new hobby that you want to take on. And it's okay if you're terrible at it, because that's not the point. And I actually challenge you to let yourself be terrible at it, because we're so used to, in the salon world, like, we can't be terrible at it. We have to learn the skill and be good at the skill because people are counting on us to be good at it. I challenge you to find something that you can be bad at. And there's no rush to get better. There's no deadline. There's nobody to impress. It is just entirely for you and you alone. The most beautiful thing about our industry, in my mind, is there's so much growth and opportunity for us beyond just hairstyling, even beyond just being a salon owner. You can find a path that lets you bring your hobbies and your business together many a times. For example, I told you guys I'm doing a book fair at my salon, which is like worlds collide. You can find ways to bring your hobbies into your work, because that's the beauty of what we do. We can do fun stuff like this. But at the end of the day, we just need to remember that we are more than a hairstylist. We are more than a salon owner. Our business is not our baby. Our business is our business. But who we are as people, as women, as mothers, as creatives, is more than what we do. So I hope you guys got something from this. Thank you so much for listening. Again, my name is Abigail Lacey. You can find me on Instagram, abigail.lsociety. And I will talk to you guys next time on the Heal the Industry podcast.